Cat! Can you pass me my tea, please? My dad's Mark III. The dreaded Esther is getting an L.S.D. Winston, the plastic Fiesta, who is actually going to be leaving us very soon.
Oh no!
Damn! Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, and in a minute I'm going to be leaving home to head over to my garage to mess about with my old banger Ford Escorts. But first, I've got a couple of things to show you. I realised the other day that I forgot to show you the couple of YouTube related presents that my beautiful girlfriend Kat bought me for my birthday recently. First of all, check out this super cool framed award thingamajiggy that Kat bought me to celebrate the fact that me and you guys have actually managed to get this channel to 10,000 subscribers. We're actually now fast approaching 11,000 subscribers. Those big channels that reach 100,000 subscribers actually get a play button award from YouTube, but let's face it, my little channel is never going to get there. But I absolutely love this award that Kat bought me, and I will treasure it forever. Next up, I've got something to show you that's been making the editing process a little bit more comfortable. On a side note, my very old MacBook Pro now doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi, so I've got this external Wi-Fi thing. And yesterday, the trackpad stopped working properly, so I'm now having to use a USB mouse. But anyway, Kat bought me this table thing. Now, although I do have a table over here, which has kind of become my office, it's where I keep all the stickers and stuff and decals and all my account stuff, I actually don't edit my videos at this table. I always do it on the sofa and, of course, at work in my van, because I take my MacBook to work every day to keep up with the editing as well. But when I'm editing on the sofa, I've got two options really. I can either have the MacBook on my lap, but then it gets hot and starts burning my legs. So I normally end up just putting it on the coffee table. And as you can imagine, when you're leaning over to the coffee table, it's not really great for posture. So yeah, Kat bought me this table. It means I can sit up nice and straight when I'm editing, which is obviously a bit better for my back. Now, the only bad thing about having this is that it's difficult to reach your tea. You know, if you've got a tea on the coffee table, but I've found a solution. Kat! Now, there isn't any tea in the cup, this is just a demo, but yeah, can you pass me my tea, please? See, works well. The same solution works for biscuits or your mobile phone. Yeah, absolutely loving using this table to edit my videos. Hello, right, so a bit later in the day and I'm around the garage with Maude, my moredoor Mk2 Escort, and Esther, my ST170 Mk1 Escort. Now, I've got both cars jacked up and I'll explain why in a minute, although I'm sure some of you will be able to guess, seeing as I've got the half shafts pulled out of the axle on both cars. Now, I've actually been here quite a while already and I've been messing around with a couple of things, including re-aralditing the rear light units for Maude. They've got some cracks around the edge where obviously a previous owner of the car has done them up too tight. But yeah, they'll be good to go again once the araldite sets. Now, since the last time you saw Maude on the channel, I've basically been painting the wing mirrors and the door handles, and I've got those fitted along with all the door glass and these pillars that I gave a quick coat of paint as well. And yeah, I'm really happy with how the new colour looks against the black bits. And in fact, I'm really happy with how the two colours of these cars look together as well. And I'm sure once I get these two cars lined up with my dad's Mark III, I'm sure they'll all look good together as well, with them being three different shades of blue. While we're talking about my dad's Mark III, I'll quickly explain what the issue was that I had with her recently that I mentioned in the last video. Now, since Wes very kindly brought the Mark III back to her garage for me, she's just been chilling in the garage. I haven't touched her yet. But the issue I had was that the car got a little bit hot on the way home one day. I was hoping that there was, you know, a leak coming from one of the radiator hoses or something. It was actually the dreaded head gasket failure. Loads of mayo on the cap, and you can see it all in there as well. And, don't know if you can see that, but the dipsticks covered in mayo as well. Now, for an engine that's only covered 33,000 miles, I thought that was a bit weird that the head gasket would go. But a couple of people have said to me that if a car sits for years and years and years, which this car has, you know, throughout its life, yeah, that can cause the head gasket to blow. I haven't done a compression test yet to see if the cylinders themselves are leaking or whether it's just, you know, the water getting into the oil. But yeah, I'm not going to drive the car again. I'm going to take the head off and deal with the issue. So on to today's shenanigans. Esther is going to be getting an L.S.D. This L.S.D is actually the one that was fitted to Maude, and it's been fully rebuilt by Southern Axle Services. Got some fresh clutch plates in the Tranex L.S.D. It's also got the new pinion seal and a new pinion nut. The pinion bearing was fine and the side gears were fine, which is good. But yeah, I do love a fresh L.S.D. When you get a fresh set of clutch plates in your L.S.D, it's so good to drive with. You know, they clunk a bit, but they're so aggressive. I'm actually only going to temporarily fit this L.S.D to Esther, and that is because I want to see how the 4.1 to 1 ratio of that diff feels with the RX-8 6-speed gearbox that's fitted to Esther. And if it feels good, I'll get another 4.1 to 1 ratio diff and put an L.S.D kit in that, and that will be fitted to Esther. I'm pretty sure that if Esther does end up having a 4.1 to 1 ratio diff, first gear will be literally useless, so I'll be always pulling away in second. But yeah, I need to test it out before I decide what ratio I'm going to be using for Esther long term. So the plan is to rip the open diff out of Esther and fit that to Maude, and then I'm going to fit Maude's L.S.D to Esther. Now I actually only have one diff gasket in stock, so I'm going to put the open diff in Maude with just sealer and use the gasket for the L.S.D, because that's the one that I definitely don't want to ruin by running it dry. I should have cracked these off before I set the wheels off and that. Never mind. And with the second brake drum refitted to Maude, we now have the boring diff taken out of the pretty car and fitted to the ugly car. And now I just need to fit the fun diff to the pretty car, which I'm going to crack on with off camera, so I'll catch up with you afterwards. And the job is done. Still got to put the diff oil in, but I'll do that when she's back on the ground. I didn't bother putting any sealer on this gasket. Actually looks like a really decent gasket. Got this Castrol B373 L.S.D oil. Obviously I don't need to put L.S.D oil in Maude at the moment, but I don't have any regular diff oil in my garage, so they're both getting racing oil. I think it takes just over 1 litre. Really glad that I've now got the L.S.D fitted to Esther. I can't wait to test it out. Diff works good, oh my god. Mad, I'm not used to so much power, so when I first flicked it, it just almost spun round too much. like the 4-1 diff in this actually. Hear the knocking in the diff. Some people don't like that and they have them set up a little bit more tame, but I like them nice and aggressive. It has that weird idle thing, it just idles high. If I rev it, sometimes it'll go back down, or if I like lift the clutch to bring the revs down, then it will stay down. I think it's an air leak. Balance seems to be alright. Yeah, I don't have my laptop here, so I can't really plug it in to see what's going on. For now, I'm going to leave Esther alone. Felt so good doing donuts in her for the first time in 7 years. Anyway, before the day runs out, I think I better start doing some more bits on Maude. Alright, so the Araldite bodges seem to have worked pretty well. So I've got the rear lights now back together with the lenses and the rubber seals. So let's bang these on the car. Now, I don't know if it's the same previous owner that over tightened these and cracked them that also labelled them so that I know which colour wires goes where, but definitely very helpful. And this driver's side light is a bit awkward. It's one of the studs comes through there, so I end up having to move the tank out of the way, but I actually wanted to move it out of the way so that I could paint in there anyway, so not so bad. I'll try not to drop any of the washers or the nut. Shouldn't have said that. These really don't have to be that tight at all. I like to do this one a bit tighter than the other one because that's where the earth meets the body, but yeah, got to stop before the plastic, or Araldite in my case, cracks. And now the trick is not to drop the spanner. Shouldn't have said that. I reckon they're tight enough. The light of the unit doesn't wiggle, and it should seal and keep the water out, although I have drilled a hole sort of down there in the bottom of the tank well, and the same the other side, just so that if any water does run in, it can run out rather than creating a puddle. Sweet. Alright, let's bang the plate on the back. I'm using the 3M tape that I got to put the black strips on my dad's Mark III. Probably a bit better than the number plate tape that I've used in the past. A bit wider as well. Bit wonky. Oh, no. My beautiful girlfriend Kat has arrived in Winston, the plastic Fiesta, who is actually going to be leaving us very soon because Kat's gone and bought a new car. Now that Kat's here, we're going to tackle a job that was a bit of grief last time we did it on this car, but hopefully it goes a bit more smoothly this time. You're going to use the string method to fit the screens. Now it's good to lube up where you're going to put the string. Basically, you put the string around and then you lay the screen on the car, and then as you pull the string out, it basically folds this around the lip of the window aperture. Now in the past I've used washing up liquid, you know, just run that around the groove, but because washing up liquid has got salt in it, apparently that's not a good thing to use because salt can cause rust. And I don't actually have any washing up liquid here anyway, so I'm going to use multi-purpose grease. I don't have any spray grease, so this is going to be a bit of a mission poking this grease in the groove, but let's get on with it. Is it top or bottom first? I can't remember. I'm going to use this wire because I don't have any string. Just feed that in the groove. In a good position. So just put pressure in the middle.
Oh no!
Damn! This ain't gonna work now. So that's just gonna pull through. If we can get it folded over, it might work. I managed to get it all folded round amazingly. Glad we managed to do it without starting again. Why are the rear screens on a Mark II so difficult?
You can take the wire out.
Oh yeah, good idea. Now I just got to do the front. Sweet. Let's go home.
Please.
Hello, right, into the next day, and it's been another hot one. I actually nearly didn't come round to the garage today because the sun absolutely killed me yesterday, but I thought I'd better at least come round and get Maude on the road so I don't have to use Kat's car next week to get to work. So Maude is now back together. I've got her jacked up at the moment because I want to show you something that is potentially some really good news. Now, the first thing we did when Kat dropped me off earlier is we put the boot lid back on. She gave me a hand with that. It's good to see the whole back end now back together. I've refitted the bumpers. I've removed the black strips from the bumpers because I'm planning on, you know, giving these bumpers a key. Maybe one day at work next week, and you know, with them attached to the car it might make things easier. So yeah, I removed the black strips off the bumpers. The one on the rear bumper is actually bolted on. The nuts are all rusty and basically they just spun, so I ended up having to rip the black strip off, and then I just struggled grabbing hold of the flat piece of this bolt so I can get the nuts off. Took absolutely ages, but yeah, managed to get it done. I am going to be painting these bumpers black, but I do intend to get some fiberglass ones at some point. I'm also going to give the fuel cap a coat of black paint as well, just to tie in with the blue and black theme that this car now has. Now, there are some bits around the car that I need to touch up with the blue paint. This is where the boot lid was leaning up against the wall in one of the other garages. I had a bit of foam here to stop it getting damaged on the wall, but the paint was still slightly wet. So yeah, that's remnants of the foam and where it's pulled the paint off. But yeah, I intend to go around the whole car and touch some bits up. I still need to paint this area here. You know, when you look here you can see that bit's still black. So yeah, and I haven't yet painted the bonnet either. So yeah, still more little bits of paintwork to do, but yeah, I'm really happy with how she looks. Looks a whole lot better than I intended it to look. Around the front, and I've got the grille fitted and the front bumper. This front bumper, the black strip is actually just clipped on, so I managed to save that. I might actually sell it because now that I haven't got the strip to put on the back, I'm not going to be putting the one on the front. I'll just leave it with the holes. One thing I didn't mention yesterday is that I painted some of the parts of these wings gloss black. I like to do this bit gloss black because it's where the water runs down and it will protect from rust better than the matte blue paint will. I am going to paint this bit matte blue though, just to ensure that when the bonnet's shut and when the bonnet's actually blue, you can't see any black there. I've also done bits like in there gloss black as well, and in there the sort of back bit of the wing that you don't see. Again, just because the gloss black paint will protect from rust a little bit better. I'm coming back round to the back actually, there's something I forgot. The boot lock. Now, I had an absolute nightmare with the boot lock. Now, when you remove the boot lock, in the side of the barrel, there's a pin that sticks out, and that's basically there to ensure that the lock can only turn sort of 90 degrees one way and then back again, as it should. And I saw it sticking out, and I thought, that shouldn't be like that, surely. So I banged it in, you know, banged it in so that it still stuck out enough to, you know, stop the lock turning as it should. But then the key wouldn't go all the way in, so I ended up having to butcher the side of the barrel with a drill just so that I could actually tap that pin back out. Yeah, it's an absolute mess, but I managed to get it back together and the lock works. So yeah, if like me you can't leave things alone and you see that little pin sticking out of your boot lock, leave it alone. It's supposed to poke out. But yeah, just really glad that I don't need to buy another boot lock and it actually works. Now, I have ordered some brand new rubber seals that go here for the outside and the inside, but they haven't been delivered yet. The door cards actually have the inner one as part of it, but I'm thinking I'm not even going to bother putting those door cards back on. I'm probably going to buy some alloy ones, or maybe make some out of wood and coat them with some sort of material or vinyl wrap. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, the door cards are in a bit of a state. I don't like the design of them anyway. All the chrome is flaking off. So yeah, I'm probably not going to refit those door cards again. One thing I do need to do though is reline the inside of these doors just to stop the rain getting into the car. Last time, as you can see, I used some sort of bin liners and duct tape, but this time I'm going to use some sticky back plastic that Kat picked up for me. It was only a £5 for that roll, and that'll be enough to do the whole car. And I think we're forecast rain next week at some point, so I'm definitely going to stick that sticky back plastic to the inside of the doors maybe one day on my break next week at work. One thing I did notice today when I was just having a look underneath, the nuts on the U-bolts that wrap around the axle, these nuts here, they were not loose, but I was definitely able to give them a couple of turns each. So I'm thinking maybe, you know, that was causing the diff to dive a bit too much, and that could have been maybe one of the reasons I was getting the issues with the pinion seal. But as you'll know, if you've been watching my videos, I have now got a brand new custom prop shaft from Prop Shaft Services in Feltham, which has been made to the correct length. The RS2000 spec one was about 1 inch too short because when I fitted the Z-Tech, the gearbox seemed to move forward about 1 inch. This diff that is fitted to Maude now does have a leaky pinion seal, to be fair. It's just my spare open diff that I've got. Had a bit of a nightmare with the wing mirror glass. When I tried to dismantle the mirrors to paint them, I wasn't able to get them out without them breaking. I don't have them here because they're actually in Kat's car, but I've still got the plastic trim that holds the glass in. That came out okay. And I did actually buy some replacement glass online. I found someone that was selling for like $3.99 a side, and I already knew before I bought them that they're the stick-on type that stick over your broken glass, so I knew they were going to be a little bit too small. So I don't know whether I should take those trim pieces to a glass shop and see if they can make me a bit of mirror exactly the right size, one for each side, or maybe I'll make up something out of wood or metal to fit into the black trim piece and then stick my replacement glasses to that. I don't know, but yeah, at the moment I don't have any wing mirrors both sides, and I've also just remembered that I don't have a rear view mirror fitted either. I can't remember where I put it, and I didn't find it when I was just cleaning all the junk out of Maude, so yeah, I don't think the police are going to like it if they see me with no mirrors at all, but it is what it is. Actually just found it in my toolbox. Let's see if I can press this in without taking the trim off and that. Yeah, I'll do. So I think that's pretty much everything to do with putting Maude back together, all the grief that I encountered. So now I'm going to let you know about something that could be potentially some really good news. If you've been watching my videos for any length of time, you'll know that I have a long-term issue with my clutch pedal rattling. As you can see, making a right racket. Now someone actually got in touch with me recently, and I can't for the life of me find the email, and they were saying that basically if the clutch cable isn't dead center on the circle that's on your bell housing, it can cause those issues. And the guy was actually saying that if I had a scrap starter motor, he would actually be able to make me a bracket to put the cable dead center. I think he said he could make like a metal bush to press into, you know, part of a scrap starter. Now I've got this bracket here that bolts to the bell housing for the clutch cable to pass through, and I've removed the bolts, but it's currently in the position that it was. But if I move it, now that the bolts are out of the way, so that the cable is more sent up in this whole piece, something like that, it's a lot better than it was. I don't know if maybe I need to replace the bushes in the pedals. I did actually replace them for poly bushes, which might have been a mistake, so maybe I'll look for some proper rubber ones. But yeah, it's still making a noise, but it is a million times better. Now, as I say, I can't find the email from that guy, and I don't actually have a scrap starter motor that I can use to send him to make that bracket. But Retro Ford do a bracket like that, and when I look at the design of it, it does look like it puts the cable more central than the one I've got. So I think I'm going to buy a Retro Ford bracket and fit that, and hopefully that will be the rattly pedal problem maybe not solved, but drastically improved. So right now I'm going to get Maude back on all fours. Obviously need to put those bolts back in that bracket for the clutch cable, and yeah, take Maude on her first journey since she got painted. She's definitely going to be a bit more boring to drive now that she's got an open diff, but yeah, still looking forward to driving her for the first time in quite a few weeks now. It's crazy how sketchy his car feels compared to Esther. You know, all the suspension and steering on Esther is, you know, really nice. Definitely some things going on with this car. I've got a knock-in from the front suspension on the driver's side, which I did know about before, but it's feels more pronounced now that I've been driving Esther. Definitely notice how much power Esther's got compared to Maude. But yeah, you know, Maude's not exactly slow. Not sure how many horsepower she's got left. But I've always said that, you know, 150 horsepower in a Mk2 Escort is plenty. So yeah, still loads of fun. I do wish I had an L.S.D in this axle though. Maude is definitely getting a few more looks now with her new colour. People pointing their fingers and that. Alright, so back at home, and after a much needed shower, I'm about to wolf down this beautiful steak dinner that my beautiful girlfriend Kat has just prepared for me. Now, next on the agenda in terms of the cars, apart from lining the inside of Maude's doors with the sticky back plastic and fitting the weather strips on the outside of the doors when they arrive through the post, I'm going to be turning my attention back to Esther, my Mk1 Escort. I need to sort out her weird idle issue because next weekend is Father's Day and my mum's birthday, and I want to take my dad for a rip in the Mk1. So that's what you can expect in the next video. But if you thought this video was any good, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media and my website. I'll also leave my email address down there for anyone who wants to contact me. Massive thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of my channel. But other than that, until next time, from me and my beautiful girlfriend Kat, thanks for watching.